Hiya guys, just come out of a 8:15 a.m. showing of Oppenheimer at the BFI IMAX, which was very exciting because it was one of, I think it's only 3 places in Britain showing the 70mm print of Oppenheimer. Booked that in a jiffy when they were released, but still only managed to get 8:15 a.m. showing. When would I prefer to go? Probably about 2 p.m. But 8:15 was great. Got up with my girlfriend and my mate. Me and my mate have been talking about this film for about a year, literally over a year. But we've been planning where we wanted to see it, what seats we wanted to get. We literally looked at schematics of the BFI venue. We thought about where we've sat before and thought, where's the perfect place to sit? Anyway, we sat perfect seats. G17 to G20, all 4 of us in the BFI IMAX. It was ridiculous. By the way, I'm just in Primark because my girlfriend's looking for summer. So couldn't have been happier. Brought myself some overnight oats to eat just before it started because it's a 3-hour film. By the way, I probably will skirt into spoilers here, so if you don't want to know spoilers, turn off. I didn't want to know any spoilers before I went in, didn't read any reviews, stopped watching all the featurettes, just didn't want anything, didn't speak to any of my mates, honestly didn't go on Twitter for about 4 days. I'm a big fan of Christopher Nolan, but I have my there's some drawbacks as well. I'm not head over heels in love with everything he ever does. I think he's made some stinkers like Dark Knight Rises. My favourite is Interstellar, but I think it has its flaws. I think his flaws generally are he doesn't really have an emotional an instinct when it comes to really emotional stories, apart from Interstellar, which is why it's my favourite. And also I think that sometimes he's too obsessed with the construct of the narrative in regards to time jumps, and he should be more obsessed with the plot itself, or the story itself, I should say. I don't know if I'm putting that right. Sometimes I think he's very form over content. But anyway, I was excited about Oppenheimer because I think it's his first 15 rated film since Memento, which is a big deal because he's obviously been quite a crowd pleasing guy for a while. And also it's a 3-hour film, so I was like, God, we're really going into a dramatic kind of thing. I'm sorry, I'm so tired. I got up so early for this and my brain's fried. So I just thought, this is gonna be really dramatic, really adult, and it was. I think the main thing that I take away from it was in kind of Dunkirk and Inception especially, he does that thing where the whole thing is it's like an extended montage almost. Every scene is a carry-on from a previous scene, or it's kind of being narrated by a scene at another time or in another place, and everything kind of overlaps. I think it's such a unique style. I don't know any other director who does it even close to that. And for those 2 films, especially Inception and Dunkirk, it was a really effective way of keeping it snappy. Dunkirk, there was thematic reasons for doing it because it was all in real time-ish and all that. This is similar. So this is essentially a 3-hour montage. There's only one pause in the whole film, and it's when the bomb goes off, the test bomb. That's the only time the film stops. And I think it is a little bit tiresome, but does at points, because it's very wordy. It's it's a lot about the relationships, the history, the legal ramifications, the moral ramifications. There's a lot of words. It's a wordy script. And so in that, shoved into the normal Chris Nolan form, I think is sometimes it's almost overload. It's hard to digest it all. And I think for that reason, it'll really do well with a rewatch. But aside from that, it's mega interesting. I think it explores the morals and issues surrounding the bomb and Oppenheimer really, really well. And also, I think that some of the set pieces within that are some of the best things I've ever seen on screen, the bomb And the follow-up to the bomb, there's a scene in a lecture hall, which I won't, if you are watching this for some reason and you haven't seen it, I won't say the whole thing, but the scene in the lecture hall after the bomb had gone off is one of my favourite Nolan scenes ever. It was so fucking perfect. Cillian Murphy is like unbelievably good, and I'm really happy he's getting his leading role moment. The whole cast, there was it's like a really strong cast of really well-known faces. Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, especially, those two are in huge roles. But then you get these bit parts from like Kenneth Branagh and just tons of faces that you've seen before in loads of different films. And I was like wondering if that was going to overpower, first of all, Cillian Murphy, because he's not as big a face, even though he's a brilliant actor. And secondly, like the film, because it's entirely based on real life events. Is it going to kind of take over the immersion of that, like feeling like you're not viewing a true story, you're kind of viewing a performance, you know? But it didn't, you know, it for some reason it just worked. Everyone smashed it. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Robert Downey Jr., but he smashed it. I thought, is Matt Damon going to be a bit like, I can't explain what I was worried about, but he was like fucking brilliant. Emily Blunt was great, I think I've already said that. Even Florence Pugh's in it for like 10 minutes and she's brilliant, and it doesn't take away from the main character and the drive of the story. Cinematography was brilliant. The fact that he set off a real fucking bomb is insane, and I love that. And you can tell as an audience member, like, you can feel it feels significant, it feels powerful, it feels big, it feels scary, and I think you can't get that from CGI. And I think, although we're all laughing at him being like, oh my god, he set off a real bomb and he filmed it with IMAX cameras, I think you can completely, it's justified, you can see why he did it. I think I will want to watch this again. I think with other Nolan films I've wanted to watch it because of the novelty of like maybe some twists and turns, or like the novelty of the kind of lore of the film, especially like an Inception, Interstellar kind of rewatch. I think this I want to rewatch it just because there's so much fucking information, there's so much meat on the bone. I actually don't know if I was able to even take it all in, like, because I don't know the story of Oppenheimer at all, so it was all fresh, and I was like, got my t-shirt on, by the way. You can see everyone looking at my t-shirt being like, oh my god, he's got a t-shirt on doing a review about Oppenheimer. Sad. So I will rewatch it. I'd say as first viewings go, if I was to compare it to my other first viewings of Nolan films, it would be in the top 4. So that top 4 in a vague order would probably be Interstellar, Dark Knight, Prestige, and then this. I think that's slightly being harsh on Inception because I did enjoy that first viewing, but since then I've gone off Inception quite a bit. But I think like he's done a really, really good job, and I think it'll struggle to like really blow up at the box office because it is so long and dense. But I think for the audiences that it pulls in, for its target audience, it'll do really, really well. Anyway, I'll see Barbie later. I'll do a review for that as well. Hence the t-shirt. Hashtag Barbenheimer. Yeah, I would recommend. I'm quite harsh with my ratings out of 10, so I almost don't want to give it because it makes it sound like I liked it less than I did. Basically, do you know what? I liked it. Ratings don't fucking matter, okay? Hope you enjoy. Bye. See you next time.